pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Marc Mekki. Marc is an author, speaker, and coach who lives and breathes digital innovation, emerging technology, and human-centric design thinking. Tonight, he'll show us the multiple ways AI can unleash the potential of our industry and enhance the experience of our visitors. Please give it up for Marc Mekki.
Thank you very much.
In the tapestry of human civilization, iconic venues and monuments stand as testaments to our creativity and spirit. These landmarks are more than stone and paint. They are embodiments of our collective dreams. In a world increasingly digital, these physical spaces gain poignant importance. They anchor us in a sea of change, reminding us of the enduring power of human connection. Today, we gather to honor these remarkable venues, celebrating not just the structures, but the stories they tell and the communities they build. Welcome, dear friends and colleagues, to the Remarkable Venue Awards.
Okay, so poor me, right? Can I get some sympathy here? I have to go on stage after these guitarists to talk about AI, a subject that most of the room is fed up with already, or completely baffled by, or both. Every newsletter, every LinkedIn post, every article, AI, AI, AI. So I have to come here and talk about this stuff, and somehow let you leave the room with some value, gain some value from this, some insights. So what is there left for me to talk about? Okay, well, let's take a little journey. I could show you how to unleash your imagination to create these beautiful photorealistic images very quickly just by talking to a computer, which is a remarkable thing to be able to do, a skill that I think each and every one of you should learn to master and teach your kids as well. Right? I could show you, for example, how to create endless compelling variations on those images very quickly just by talking to a computer. Okay, what else could I do? Well, I could show you some cool AI tricks, like how I could generate very quickly a picture of a superhero protecting the skies over Amsterdam, and then leverage state-of-the-art AI tech to swap one superhero with another one to create Tiqets Man. Yes, protector and defender of the tours and activities space, of the attraction space, rather. So this stuff always gets a few quick and easy laughs, right? It's fun, and it's a little bit controversial considering the fact that I'm using someone else's image, but okay, we're not here to talk about that. What else could I do? I could show you how to leverage text-to-video AI, which is another domain that is progressing very quickly, and where in the next few years, if not sooner, we'll start seeing a cinematic output quality, right? Or we could take that further as well, and I could show you how to leverage text-to-audio artificial intelligence, another field that is progressing very quickly. Now, I promise I did not know these guitarists would be here, right? This is not a setup. So this is also progressing very quickly, and music was one of those domains where we thought, computers will never be able to compete with people, and even though that gap is still very wide, it's starting to get more narrow by the month. That's fully AI. I could show you practical AI tips, right? Like, for example, in this particular sector, how you could take an existing image of a place, a site, an attraction, like, for example, this famous place, Plaza de España, right here in Sevilla, and I could show you how I can upload that to Bard. Bard is Google's large language model. Everyone knows Bard right now, and leverage its awesome image recognition capabilities. It can see like a human being. And why would I do that? To help Bard generate for me very quickly an article or a piece of content that I can use in a variety of ways. like a blog post or an article or something like that. And it does a really good job at that, and it even very helpfully gave me a set of SEO-friendly keywords that I can use in my article or my blog post. Now, very useful, right? This isn't the finished article. Of course, this always needs human review, but if you leverage this correctly, you can save yourself hours, days, if not weeks, over the span of a working year, which I think is really worth it. So, what else can you do? I can show you how to continue that conversation with Bart and ask it to turn that article, that piece you generated, into a narration, like an audio narration you could use for a tour guide, right? Now, since these tools, these systems are trained on millions of examples of conversations, they do an exceedingly good job at rendering this kind of natural language output that I can then use somewhere else. So what can I do? I can take you further down the AI rabbit hole, as I call it, and show you how to convert that narration that I just created into an AI-generated voiceover that I can then use for, let's say, a self-guided tour, or to compel people to come and visit a certain site or a place. I just fire up my voice synthesis AI software, I pick a voice, or I can create a voice of my own, custom voice, and within seconds I'm ready to deploy this to my customers. Like in my case, I want to be spoken to on an individual level, not like everyone else. I want a voiceover of Plaza de España narrated by Taylor Swift.
Hey Mark, welcome to Plaza de España, Seville's most iconic landmark. This stunning semicircular plaza was built for the 1929 Ibero-American Exposition. Mark, did you know that Plaza de España has been featured in several films and television shows, including Lawrence of Arabia, Star Wars, and The Bodyguard?
All right, thank you, Taylor. So think of how you could scale personalized tour experiences to thousands of people simultaneously in a wide variety of voices and languages with content that is generated very quickly and easily on demand and in the style and tone of each individual traveler. Really engaging with people with deeply personalized content that matters to them. That's what this is about. Like, for example, what else could we do? We could really bring the past to life in ways that it would have been prohibitively expensive or difficult in the past, and really bring out these characters, because people want to see other people. We want to see other faces, and now we can bring them back to life.
Hello, I'm Pablo. I was born in Malaga but spent many wonderful days in Sevilla. The city has a magic quality, with romance and artfulness permeating the air. Enjoy it while you are here for the Remarkable Venue Awards.
Of course, that was based on a picture. Pablo never spoke those words because he wouldn't do so in English to begin with. So I can now finally, doing these things, I can break the boundaries of language itself, a capability that will allow me to bring people closer together and foster a deeper level of understanding between people in more ways than one, so that what starts in one language...
I'm very sorry I can't be with you all today at such an important gathering.
...can now easily continue or be restarted in another.
Lamento mucho no poder estar con todos ustedes hoy en una reunión tan importante. Algunos han especulado que he visto más del mundo natural que cualquier otra persona.
See, if we apply discipline, taste, artfulness, and creativity to these tools and techniques, then we can craft stories and narratives of our shared human culture, our history, and our aspirations for a better world, right? We can create compelling, heartwarming, thought-provoking, evocative content that really resonates with people. Or, you know what, if we want cheap, superficial thrills, then AI will give us that too.
Oh, to dance with somebody. I want to feel the heat with somebody. Yeah, I want to dance with somebody. With somebody who loves me. Oh.
I'm pretty sure that's the end of his political career right there. But as cool as all these tools and techniques may be, I didn't actually come here today because I think that these are the breakthroughs that we need to be talking about, right? What I came here to try and make you understand and debate, consider, and then hopefully leverage is that the real breakthrough that was unleashed on the masses is not that we can generate content very quickly, but that we can do so based on a natural language interaction with computer systems. For the first time ever in history, we've managed to bridge one of humanity's oldest and most consequential technologies, language itself, with its newest technological advancements like AI and modern computing. I was on a bus tour this summer in Thessaloniki in Greece, right, for my summer vacation. Wonderful place to go. And so I spent, a good few minutes trying to untangle this little headset and plugged it into a little speaker system that had me select one of 8 languages, I think. At which point I was then joined by this voice, this disembodied voice in my head that was in the middle of a narration about the site that we were about to arrive at. So far, so good, right, I suppose. But as I was listening to the history of Thessaloniki, which basically, if you didn't know, is named after the sister or half-sister of Alexander the Great, I was really compelled, I was fascinated, but I was also left unfulfilled, disappointed. Why? Because I realized in that moment that I was looking for a deeper and more meaningful connection to our human heritage, to the sites and the places that make travel stories worth hearing in the first place. I wanted to talk to them. I wanted to ask them questions. I wanted to ask about life in Greece in the 3rd century BC. I wanted to talk to Thessaloniki herself and ask her if Alexander the Great was, a great leader hero or just a crazy madman. Or maybe ask her for some tips for a coffee shop in the city. Or let me talk to Aristotle, the legendary Greek philosopher, right? And let me ask him about the nature of reality and whether I should really have ouzo after wine. The answer is no, right? And I'm not the only one in having this idea, this vision, this hope for a different relationship with computing to transcend space and time and substance itself.
But I can't ask Aristotle a question. I mean, I can, but I won't get an answer. And so my hope is that in our lifetimes, we can make a tool of a new kind, of an interactive kind.
See, tourism and certainly travel have existed in some form or another for thousands of years, with attractions, with venues, with sight, with art, with food, speaking to us through guides, through books, through exhibits, through applications. And for the longest period of time, that was sort of enough, but I don't think it is anymore. We can do better than that, because now for the first time, we can expect more than just being spoken to. We can actually have a two-way conversation. See, AI opens up the thrilling possibility and the promise of not just having monuments and sites and venues speak to us, through guides and exhibits and books and all of that, but for us to be able to talk back. So I really believe that we're moving from this passive to an active form of engagement in travel and in experiences. And that's a big difference.
And so my hope is someday, when the next Aristotle is alive, we can capture the underlying worldview of that Aristotle in a computer. And someday, some student will be able to not only read the words Aristotle wrote, but ask Aristotle a question and get an answer.
Right? Talk back and get an answer. I firmly believe that conversational AI characters are a big part of the future of tourism and travel and education, because those are interlocked. Sophisticated, personalized digital agents with distinct personalities, with multilingual capabilities, with conversational skills, with memory even, much more than the chatbots we know today. And that fulfills the decades-old promise of a more fluid interaction between humans and computers. Right? So that's a very different way of thinking about it. For the first time, we can have a conversation with a new kind of intelligence, and through that, this is the important part, with the inanimate world around us, monuments, attractions, and venues, things like that. Right? So imagine, for example, a girl standing in a field of tulips, because I know we have a little tulip thing going on somewhere. Imagine a girl standing in a field of tulips and actually having a two-way conversation with that bulb, asking it about the life of a tulip, the origins of tulips, the history of the tulip mania in the whatever it was, the 16th century, was it 17th, something like that? Or an old man standing in front of his favorite painting that he's wanted to see his whole life and actually be able to have a real conversation with it rather than just a monologue. Talk to it, ask it about its origins, about the artist that made it. Ask the painting itself about its deeper meanings and fulfill that promise of a deeper connection. Because new generations, whether by age or by emerging demographics, they tend to have no allegiance to past traditions. And if they're given a great experience, they will adopt it. And so I believe in trains, in buses, in cars, and yes, at venues and attractions, they will have access to these deeply knowledgeable, highly competent, eloquent, patient, always on digital characters that are ready to serve at a moment's notice, right? But here's the thing, not to replace humans. This is the big one, not to replace humans. I firmly believe that humans will always have work as chaperones, as hosts, as guides, for as long as people travel. It's not about replacing them, it's about amplification. It's about new, evocative, compelling, thought-provoking ways of telling the stories worth telling, because isn't that what travel and experiences and exploration is ultimately really about? So, in the time that I have left, which is not a lot, I always try to demonstrate and not just talk about stuff. So in 2 weeks, with a little bit of money and a lot of courage, we built a little prototype to try and show people what that could look like. It's a prototype, it's not perfect, and I only have a few minutes, but I want to show you the beginnings of something like this, what this could look like. So let's hope this works. Who can tell me about the Remarkable Venue Awards?
The Remarkable Venue Awards is an annual event celebrating the very best in the world's cultural and historical venues. This event gives appreciation to venues that have displayed resilience, creativity, and innovation. It shines a light on those who've achieved excellence in visitor experience, engagement, or sustainability, among others.
So this system is built so that it can dynamically switch characters. This is not pre-recorded, this is live AI generated. This is a dialogue with characters, either living characters or characters from the distant past. Who can tell me about Alexander the Great? So this is being generated live.
Alexander the Great, born in Pella, Macedonia, was one of the most successful military commanders in history. He inherited the throne from his father, Philip II, at the young age of 20, and by the time of his death at 32, he had created an empire that stretched from Greece to Egypt and as far east as India. He is known for his tactical genius, bold strategies, and always leading his troops from the front in battlefield.
And to prove that it's not scripted or generated, I quickly want to see some hands and someone ask Oprah a question, right? Raise a hand and we can have a mic quickly. I want someone to ask Oprah a question. So to prove that this is not scripted. While I do that, I'm going to bring out one more character. So have a think very quickly. Who can tell me about the food culture in Greece? Let's see who comes out. So characters are dynamically
Greek cooking is all about simple, quality ingredients and time-tested cooking methods. Olive oil, feta cheese, olives, legumes, and honey are staples in many traditional dishes. Grilled meats and fresh local produce are hallmarks of the Greek table. Meals often start with a collection of appetizers known as mise. Hospitality is key in Greek culture, and sharing good food with good company is considered an essential part of living well.
Right, so do we have a question for Oprah? Who's got a question? Someone. Or the team. Or for Tony. Or for the Greek Macedonian queen. Tell me and I will ask.
I think today's a day to ask Oprah who's going to win the Remarkable Venue Awards.
Oh. Hey Oprah, who is going to win the Remarkable Venue Awards today?
I'm sorry, but as much as I'd love to predict, the winner of the Remarkable Venue Awards is a closely guarded secret until the moment of announcement. But I assure you, all the nominated venues have demonstrated incredible innovation and resilience this year.
Okay, so my takeaway, thank you very much. So my takeaway is stop thinking about unidirectional communication in attractions and this industry. Start thinking along the lines of two-way conversations. Start thinking about how you can use this technology to actually bring venues and attractions to life, whether it's people from the present, people from the distant past, real people or inanimate objects. From now on, people will have conversations with your venues and attractions. I hope you enjoy that. Thank you very much.